On the edge of the galaxy, an advanced alien lab known as Xylocorp struggled with dwindling productivity and efficiency. For months, the CEO, Zarvis, had been receiving reports of missed deadlines, sloppy results, and a general lack of enthusiasm among the workforce. Desperate for a solution, Zarvis decided to take a bold step, hiring a human worker from Earth. "Are you sure about this, Zarvis?" asked Drivak, the head of research, his tentacles twitching with skepticism. "Humans are unpredictable." "Exactly," Zarvis replied, his eyes glinting with determination. "We need unpredictability. We need a fresh perspective." And so, a few weeks later, Alex Thompson found himself standing in the middle of Xylocorp's sprawling lab complex, feeling completely out of his depth. The lab was a maze of glowing corridors, strange devices humming with alien energy, and creatures that defied description. "Welcome, Alex," Zarvis said, extending a hand, or something like a hand, towards him. "We're glad to have you on board." "Thanks," Alex replied, shaking the alien's appendage awkwardly. "Happy to be here. So, where do we start?" Zarvis led Alex through the labyrinthine corridors, introducing him to various departments. Each one seemed more bizarre than the last. There was the bioluminescent lab, where jellyfish-like beings floated in tanks, and the quantum mechanics wing, where particles danced and flickered in defiance of known physics. "This is going to be interesting," Alex muttered to himself as he entered the main workspace. The aliens, with their various forms and sizes, stopped and stared at him, clearly unsure what to make of the new human worker. "Everyone, this is Alex," Zarvis announced. "He's here to help us improve our processes and productivity. Please make him feel welcome." For the first few days, Alex observed the lab's operations, taking notes and trying to understand the alien technologies and customs. It was a lot to take in, but he approached it with his usual can-do attitude. He noticed that the aliens, while brilliant in their respective fields, often worked in isolation and struggled with basic organizational skills. One afternoon, Alex approached a group of scientists who were huddled around a malfunctioning piece of equipment. They were arguing in their native languages, none of them understanding the others. "Hey, mind if I take a look?" Alex asked. The aliens stepped aside, giving him a curious look. Alex examined the device, which seemed to be a complex mix of organic and mechanical parts. After a few minutes, he found a loose connection and tightened it with a tool from his belt. The machine whirred back to life, much to the aliens' astonishment. "How did you do that?" one of them asked in a blend of clicks and hums. "Sometimes it's just about looking at the basics," Alex said with a shrug. "You guys are so advanced that you might be overlooking simple solutions." Word of Alex's quick fix spread through the lab, and soon, aliens from various departments were seeking his advice. Alex's unconventional methods and practical knowledge began to make a noticeable impact on the lab's operations. He reorganized workspaces to reduce clutter, introduced simple tools from Earth that enhanced efficiency, and encouraged open communication among the staff. By the end of the first month, the productivity reports showed a significant improvement. Zarvis was pleased, but he knew this was just the beginning. There was still a long way to go, and Alex's integration into the team was crucial for sustaining the momentum. "You're doing great work, Alex," Zarvis said one evening as they reviewed the latest data, "but I think the real challenge will be bridging the cultural gaps." Alex nodded, thinking about the many misunderstandings and awkward moments he'd already encountered. "Yeah, but we'll get there. It's all about understanding each other, right?" "Indeed," Zarvis agreed. "And I believe you are the key to making that happen." As Alex headed back to his quarters, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. This was just the start of something big, and he was determined to make a difference in this strange, wonderful place. As Alex settled into his role at Xylocorp, he quickly realized that understanding alien technology was only half the battle. The real challenge was navigating the cultural differences that permeated every aspect of life in the lab. Every day was a learning experience, filled with moments of confusion, humor, and occasional frustration. One morning, Alex arrived to find an alien named Zog, a massive creature covered in iridescent scales, struggling with a data terminal. The device was making a series of high-pitched beeps, and Zog's usually serene expression was twisted in confusion. "Need some help?" Alex asked, stepping up beside him. Zog looked at Alex, his multifaceted eyes reflecting a rainbow of colors. "I do not understand this Earth logic," he rumbled in a deep voice. "The machine says it requires rebooting, but I do not know what this means." Alex smiled. "It's just a fancy way of saying it needs to be turned off and then back on again. Here, let me show you." As Alex demonstrated the simple process, Zog watched intently, nodding his massive head. "Thank you, Alex. Your simplicity is refreshing." "No problem, Zog. Any time," Alex replied, realizing that what seemed basic to him could be completely alien to others. Over time, Alex's willingness to help and his easygoing nature started to win over the diverse staff. He shared meals with the aliens in the communal dining area, learning about their homeworlds and traditions. Despite the language barriers and occasional misunderstandings, these interactions fostered a sense of camaraderie. One evening, Alex was invited to a gathering by Vetra, a slender alien with bioluminescent skin who worked in the genetics department. The event was a traditional celebration from Vetra's home planet, and Alex was eager to learn more about the customs. As he entered the decorated hall, he was greeted by a dazzling display of lights and sounds. Aliens of all shapes and sizes mingled, their voices blending into a harmonious symphony. Vetra approached Alex, her skin glowing a soft blue. "Welcome, Alex. I'm glad you could join us," she said, her voice melodic. "Thanks for inviting me, Vetra. This place looks amazing," Alex replied, taking in the vibrant atmosphere. Throughout the evening, Alex participated in various rituals, tried exotic foods, and even attempted an alien dance that left everyone laughing. It was during this celebration that he realized the true value of these cultural exchanges. By embracing each other's differences, they could build a stronger, more cohesive team. The next day, inspired by the previous night's events, Alex proposed a series of workshops to encourage better communication and understanding among the staff. The idea was met with enthusiasm, and soon the lab was abuzz with excitement. The first workshop was on Earth inventions. Alex demonstrated simple tools and gadgets, explaining how they could be adapted for use in the lab. The aliens were fascinated by items like the Swiss Army knife, which they saw as a marvel of multifunctionality. "Humans are very resourceful," Zarvis commented during the presentation. "You make the most of what you have." "Yeah, we do our best," Alex replied with a grin. "And I think we can all learn a lot from each other." The workshops continued, covering topics from basic problem-solving techniques to cultural traditions from various planets. Each session was a step towards bridging the gaps that had hindered collaboration. The aliens began to see Alex not just as an outsider, but as a valuable member of their team. One day, while working on a particularly challenging project, Alex found himself partnered with a gruff alien named Crawl. Crawl had initially been skeptical of Alex, but as they worked together, he gradually warmed up. "You know, Alex," Crawl said, adjusting a complex piece of equipment, "I never thought a human could bring so much to our lab. Your ideas are unconventional, but they work." "Thanks, Crawl. I appreciate that," Alex replied, tightening a bolt. "And I'm learning a lot from you guys, too." As the project progressed, Alex and Crawl discovered that their different approaches complemented each other perfectly. By the time they finished, they had developed a new, more efficient process for synthesizing compounds, further boosting the lab's productivity. In the months that followed, the bonds between Alex and his alien colleagues grew stronger. They faced challenges together, celebrated successes, and learned from their failures. Xylocorp was transforming, and at the heart of this change was the unlikely recruit from Earth, whose simple presence had sparked a revolution. With Alex firmly integrated into the team, Xylocorp's productivity was soaring. The changes he implemented, simple organizational tweaks, new tools, and improved communication, had a ripple effect throughout the lab. As the months passed, the lab's efficiency continued to improve, and the atmosphere grew more collaborative and innovative. One day, Alex was approached by Zarvis with a new challenge. "Alex, we have a critical project that needs your unique perspective," he said, leading him to a secluded area of the lab. "We're developing a new energy source, but we've hit several roadblocks." The project was a collaboration between the engineering and quantum mechanics departments. The goal was to create a sustainable energy source using a rare crystal found on a distant planet. However, the process was unstable, and previous attempts had ended in failure. As Alex studied the project details, he noticed a few key areas where he could apply his practical knowledge. "I think we need to simplify the initial steps," he suggested. "Sometimes breaking down complex tasks into smaller, manageable pieces can make a big difference." The team, initially skeptical, decided to give Alex's approach a try. Over the next few weeks, they restructured the project into smaller phases, each with clear objectives and milestones. Alex introduced tools from Earth that helped streamline the process, and he encouraged constant communication between departments to ensure everyone was on the same page. One evening, as Alex was working late, Vetra approached him. "Alex, your methods are working," she said, her skin glowing with excitement. "We've made more progress in the past few weeks than we did in the last 6 months." "That's great to hear, Vetra," Alex replied, smiling. "But it's not just my methods, it's the teamwork. Everyone's pulling together." The next day, the team reached a critical phase in the project. The crystal had to be stabilized within a containment field, and the margin for error was razor thin. As the process began, Alex noticed a slight fluctuation in the energy readings. "Hold on," he called out, moving to the control panel. "Something's not right. The field isn't uniform." Kroll, who was monitoring the equipment, frowned. "What do you suggest, Alex?" "Adjust the containment field here and here," Alex said, pointing to 2 key nodes. "It should even out the distribution." Kroll made the adjustments, and the readings stabilized. The team watched in awe as the crystal glowed with a steady, radiant light, indicating that the energy source was stable. "We did it!" Zarvis said, his voice filled with pride. "This is a breakthrough!" The success of the project brought a wave of euphoria to Xylocorp. Alex's practical solutions and collaborative approach had not only solved the immediate problem, but also set a new standard for how projects were handled. The lab's productivity had skyrocketed by 120%, a figure that seemed almost impossible just a few months earlier. However, Alex's journey wasn't without its challenges. One day, while reviewing the latest data, he noticed an anomaly. "This doesn't look right," he muttered, bringing it to Vetra's attention. Vetra examined the data, her expression growing serious. "You're right, Alex. This could be a problem." The anomaly indicated a potential flaw in the containment field that, if left unchecked, could destabilize the energy source. The team quickly assembled to address the issue, and Alex took charge, leveraging the trust and rapport he had built over the months. "We need to act fast," he said, outlining a plan. "Let's divide into teams, one to monitor the energy levels, another to reinforce the containment field, and a third to find the root cause of the anomaly." The lab buzzed with activity as everyone worked together to implement Alex's plan. Hours passed, and the tension was palpable. Just when it seemed they were running out of time, Alex and his team identified the source of the anomaly, a microscopic crack in the crystal. "Got it!" Alex shouted, directing the team to apply a precise energy pulse to seal the crack. The room held its breath as the pulse was administered, and the readings slowly returned to normal. A collective sigh of relief swept through the lab. Zarvis approached Alex, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did it again, Alex. You saved us." "It was a team effort," Alex replied, looking around at his exhausted but elated colleagues. "We all did it together." The crisis solidified Alex's place in the lab, and Xylocorp's CEO realized the true value of diversity and human ingenuity. The lab was not just a workplace, but a community where different species and cultures came together to achieve the extraordinary. With the energy project stabilized and Xylocorp thriving, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment and belonging he hadn't experienced before. The lab had transformed into a beacon of productivity and innovation, largely thanks to the collaboration between its diverse members. However, just as things seemed to be running smoothly, an unexpected challenge arose. One afternoon, an alarm blared through the lab, startling everyone from their work. The emergency lights flashed red, casting an ominous glow across the corridors. Zarvis's voice came over the intercom, urgent and strained. "Attention all personnel. There's been a breach in the containment field. Evacuate immediately. Alex's heart raced as he ran towards the source of the alarm. Vetra and Kral were already there, trying to assess the situation. The containment field around the crystal was flickering, and the energy readings were spiking dangerously. "What happened?" Alex shouted over the noise. "We're not sure," Vetra replied, her skin pulsing with anxiety. "The field just started destabilizing on its own." Alex quickly scanned the data on the nearest terminal. "We need to reinforce the field now, or the entire lab could be destroyed." Kral nodded, already moving to the controls. "What's the plan?" Alex took a deep breath, focusing his thoughts. "Vetra, get to the backup generators and increase the power supply. Kral, you and I will manually stabilize the field. We need to synchronize our efforts perfectly." The lab was a flurry of activity as everyone sprang into action. Vetra sprinted towards the generator room, her bioluminescent skin lighting her path. Kral and Alex worked side by side, their movements precise and coordinated. As Vetra increased the power, the flickering field began to stabilize, but the crystal was still emitting dangerous levels of energy. "It's not enough," Alex said, frustration evident in his voice. "We need to find another way to contain it." Just then, Zarvis arrived, his usually calm demeanor replaced by worry. "What's the status?" "We're stabilizing the field, but the crystal's energy output is too high," Alex explained. "We need to redirect the excess energy somewhere safe." Zarvis thought for a moment, then his eyes lit up with an idea. "The old containment chamber. It's still functional and could handle the excess energy." Alex nodded. "It's a long shot, but it might work. Kral, can you handle the transfer?" Kral grinned, showing his sharp teeth. "Leave it to me." As Kral prepared the equipment for the transfer, Alex and Zarvis worked to keep the field stable. Sweat poured down Alex's face as he concentrated, his hands moving swiftly across the controls. "Ready," Kral called out, his voice echoing through the lab. "Do it," Alex replied, holding his breath. Kral initiated the transfer, and a beam of energy shot from the crystal to the old containment chamber. For a tense moment, the lab was silent, everyone watching the monitors. Then the readings began to normalize, and the containment field stabilized completely. A collective cheer erupted from the team. Alex slumped against the console, exhausted but relieved. Zarvis approached him, his eyes filled with gratitude. "You did it again, Alex. You saved us." "Like I said before, it was a team effort," Alex replied with a tired smile. "We all did it together." In the aftermath of the crisis, the team gathered to reflect on what had happened. The experience had not only tested their skills, but also strengthened their bonds. They had faced the challenge together and emerged victorious, proving that their diversity was their greatest strength. As Alex looked around at his colleagues, his friends, he felt a deep sense of pride. Xylocorp had become more than just a place of work. It was a family united by a common goal. "Alex," Zarvis said, drawing his attention, "you've brought something invaluable to Xylocorp. Your ideas, your leadership, and your ability to bring us all together. We're grateful to have you here." "Thank you, Zarvis," Alex replied, feeling a lump in his throat. "I'm grateful to be here." The lab buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose as they prepared for future projects, confident that they could handle anything that came their way. Alex knew there would be more challenges ahead, but with the support of his team, he was ready to face them. Xylocorp's success was a testament to the power of collaboration and the unique contributions each member brought to the table. And at the heart of it all was Alex, the human who had shown that sometimes the simplest solutions could lead to the greatest breakthroughs.